America, Happy New Year to you. And in this new year, President Obama steps out boldly, as my mom would say, into the throne of grace. America, the president unveiled a plan that will really have some action on making sure guns have no action. Yes, indeed, it is true. This week at the White House, in his first week back from work after spending a good couple weeks in Hawaii, the president gave a speech on his proposal which would force background checks and, right, it would beef up the regulatory power of the ATF, right? Now, I know. People are like, oh my Lord, this is going to destroy the Second Amendment, blah, 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 blah. But really? All right, if you are a good quote, like let's take Wayne LaPierre's line, right? The only way to stop bad people with guns is good people with guns. Even if that line is true, America. If you are a good gun owner, wouldn't you want to make sure that bad people don't have guns? And a background check is the best way to do that, right? We've got to stop straw purchasing. We've got to do a lot of things, folks. We got to do a lot of things. But this is just one step in the right direction. And everybody's like, oh, this is unconstitutional. No, one, it's not. The president can do executive orders. But two, beyond the fact that it's not unconstitutional or that it's constitutional, the second and most important factor here is that the only reason why the president is doing this is because Congress has done nothing. Let me repeat. Congress, it is your job to do something. After Sandy, I'm sorry. And I know there was this big conversation about thoughts and prayers. Like, oh, thoughts and prayers aren't enough. And they're right, because every time there's a shooting, John Boehner, now Paul Ryan, and all the candidates running for office, the clown car of GOP candidates, they're like, oh, our thoughts and prayers. My mom used to say one thing growing up, and the Bible says faith without works is death, folks. Death. So in this speech the president gives, it's a really good speech. He says somehow we've become numb to it and we're starting to think it's normal, right? And you could go through the list, right? You have Aurora, you have Sandy Hook, you have the mall shooting at White Flint, you have the University of Oregon. I can go on and on. You have Virginia Tech. You have what happened in Tucson, right? You have Columbine. Every week it's another mass shooting and the NRA has no answers. The people in Congress don't want to do anything. So the president says it's about damn time we do something. Now his critics, as you know they would, were the first ones to run to the closest camera and say, oh no, the president's trying to stop our right to have guns. Including indicating the president fake cried. I'm sorry. I'm not a father. I'm not at all. Not even remotely. But I can totally understand where the president's coming from. Because I watch and I talk to my mom. I use my mom a lot in the show. But every time there's one of these shootings, I always talk to my mom and she's always in tears. She's like, oh my God, they were so little. It could have been you. Mom, I'm 29 now. By the time you're watching this video, I'll be 29 in America or you listen to the show. But beyond that, parents really, their hearts go out because they're like, oh my God, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, that could have been my kid. Nobody is saying, at least I'm not saying, that we should get rid of all guns. What I'm saying is we need to make sure it's hard as possible to get a gun. There's no reason that you should be able to, one, buy enough weapons to blow up the Taliban, and two, beyond buying enough weapons to blow up the Taliban, it's in some states, America, it is easier to buy a gun than register to vote. And they're both rights, right? You have the right to bear arms and you have the right to vote. It's harder for you to vote and it's easier for you to get a gun. And nobody has a problem with that. And to me, that is shocking. To me, it means that America has become numb. America has become stupid to this ideal that it is okay for people to walk into theaters and shoot, and then our response be, well, our thoughts and prayers are with the people that died. Well, we won't do any action. Right? We'll let them continue to die. We'll let their memories fade like misty watercolored memories. Enough is enough, people. And yeah, I know. I was watching today and they were talking about a dial test and how all the Republicans are against the president on this. And I think that is complete and total malarkey. Because I think if you talk to sensible gun owners, they would say, I don't want bad people getting guns. And the way to stop bad people from getting guns is, one, closing the gun show loophole, two, making sure that people who sell guns have stricter regulations on who could buy a gun, and make sure that everybody gets a background check. Case in point, Dylan Roof in South Carolina walked into a church, shoots 9 people in a church, America. The church should be the safest place on earth. He walks in, he shoots 9 people. He bought his gun legally and weaseled his way through a background check. He made the system missed him. And we don't have a problem with that? Come on. Where is our heart, America? Where is our heart? It's ridiculous.